Hey guys, Chad here from Take It or Leave It, here with another movie review for you for a little film called It Lives Inside. Here's the synopsis. An Indian-American teenager struggling with her cultural identity has a falling out with her former best friend, and, in the process, unwittingly releases a demonic entity that grows stronger by feeding on her loneliness. Alright, so let's dive right on into this thing, starting with the pros. You know, considering the Conjuring movies and other Christianity-based demonic horror movies we've gotten in the past, which is obviously the vast majority of them, it was a cool and interesting twist to instead focus on Hindu mythology and folklore for this particular demonic horror movie, as well as an Indian American family that are second generation immigrants. I just appreciated how they infused these two elements legitimately into the story, and it provided a much fresher take on what is an overcooked genre. And when it comes to the characters, in particular, I thought that the father was very well written, and I thought that the actor gave a wonderfully sweet and sensitive and subtle performance. I guess the same could be said for the boyfriend or boy of interest in the film. He was surprisingly likable and very authentic and believable in terms of the performance given. About halfway through the movie, I was actually thinking, you know, I almost am more interested in seeing like a spectacular now rom drama with these two characters. And that's not to take away from the lead actress's performance. I thought she did a very good job. I just thought that these side character performances particularly stood out. And one thing that especially stood out to me that really separated this film from just your generic mainstream horror films was the cinematography, which I thought was very diverse and very creative in its execution. And overall, I thought that the film was pretty creepy and did a good job of getting some of these quieter sequences to kind of get under my skin. Although the film got away from that and started to be not scary to me when it started to get violent and more in your face and louder, that wasn't very scary to me, as is the case in most horror movies when they decide to go that route. And now let's get into some of the weaknesses of this film. While other characters were more nuanced and interesting, the mother seemed like a straight up caricature to me, and frankly the performance was a bit over the top to boot. And there wasn't enough character development to excuse what was going on with the mom, and frankly that's a problem for me too. There's a few scenes that has a ton of exposition, one in particular between the main character and the mom, and that was the expository scene that tried to develop some of the mom's character and explain why she is the way that she is, and I just didn't think it was very successful. I mean, come on guys, like, show, don't tell. And let's get this one out of the way quick. The demon in this movie, holy shit guys, look, I appreciate that they went for practical effects in most of the demon scenes, but oh my god, I thought it was laughable. Honestly, I started looking around the theater being like, am I alone? Am I alone on this? I mean, this looks like a Sci-Fi Channel creature, come on. But again, I do like the practical effects. Good job on that one. And I thought that the writing was very strained in the third act. It was very unwieldy and all over the place. It felt rushed, and it just started to fall apart. It kind of felt like the narrative was in a full-fledged panic to get through everything within the allotted time. And despite the introduction of these new elements and themes that I had mentioned earlier, the film still played out fairly predictably, and it was just kind of cookie cutter. You know, a film that I saw recently that I thought did this even better was No One Will Save You. I think it just did a better job intricately fusing themes into the story and the narrative, and with a lot more depth too. And one isolated thing that just kind of bugged me, it's kind of stupid, it's kind of nitpicky, but a violent scene on a swing set started off pretty interesting, but it became really unsatisfying and bizarre. I didn't get it. I was like, what the hell's happening? I don't get what I'm looking at. But also bizarre in the sense that there's a swing set there. There's some stuff that, if used in a strategic way, could definitely kill you, and it just didn't end up being incorporated into the scene very much at the end of the day. Not a big thing, and maybe some of my own expectations are the problem, but yeah, it just stood out. It was just this weird isolated scene that I just just felt was kind of a waste. And another thing that could be my issue, it's not the film's fault, is the lighting was very questionable in some scenes, where it was like super dark and I just couldn't see what the hell was happening. This could be actually an AMC Theaters issue, because I've noticed a couple of their films have been a little bit dark, like noticeably dark. So what do you guys think? I mean, have you noticed this when you've gone to AMC Theaters? Let me know in the comments section. Okay, quick sidebar there, we're back to it. The dream within a dream sequences that show up in this movie. Come on! I'm pretty sure at this point that a dream within a dream sequence is only excusable if you actually get me. If you actually surprise me and I'm like, holy shit, wait, oh, it was a dream within a dream, dude. No, I didn't know. If that's my reaction, then hey, good on you, filmmakers. You're the exception to the rule. Anything else other than that reaction? No more. Shame on you. And finally, look, in the final altercation, there's this struggle back and forth, there's a fight, and here's the thing that really frustrated me about this. And I'm talking to you, filmmakers. Stop giving your characters a silver bullet that they just don't end up using. The main character in this final altercation, she has a prayer, and it totally incapacitates and disables this demon. Whenever she says it, it just goes to the ground, and it's clearly pissed off, and it doesn't like it, and it's just pretty much submitted, or at least on its way to. And what does she do? She just says it like once or twice and she just kind of stops. Like, dude, what are you doing? Come on, man. I mean, this is stupid. Just be like, Our Father who art in heaven, Our Father who art in heaven, Our Father who art in heaven. Shit, if that doesn't kill it, you can take your sweet ass time. You can just keep saying that over and over and over again and just kind of look around for a weapon to take it out. I mean, seriously, this becomes a very stress-free situation if you do it that way. But of course she doesn't, and it ends up being a problem that didn't need to be a problem, but this situation calls for a problem, a struggle, and it's gotta be there, and that's fine, honestly, in concept. But instead of having her just forget or not really get the message, because you're telling me she's a freaking idiot, and I don't think that's your intention. Instead, I don't know, like have the creature rip out her tongue, and now she can't say the prayer, and she's gotta come up with an alternative. Boom, there you go, struggle continues. I get that she just can't say the prayer over and over and over again, it's too OP, I understand, but you've got to write in a reason for why she can't say it. Put something in her way or take something away from her, such that she is forced to adapt and to come up with an alternative. But this film is not alone. A lot of movies do this, a lot of TV shows do this, and it just bugs the ever-loving hell out of me. And in this case, it definitely ruined the final confrontation for me. This film definitely has elements of It Follows, The Boogeyman, Under the Shadow, and The Vigil. And while I did enjoy some of this movie, a lot of it, in fact, the negatives just outweigh the positives just slightly, and I gotta give It Lives Inside a 5.7 out of 10. But those are just my thoughts, take it or leave it. What do you guys think? Have you seen this movie yet? Did you love it? Did you hate it? I will say, if you haven't seen this and you're kind of interested, go see it, give it a shot. You might like it more than I did. I was on the fence and I fell one way, but you might fall the other, so go check it out if it sounds interesting to you, and let me know what you think down in the comments section. Let's talk about it. And as usual, guys, thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I really appreciate it. Don't be afraid to hit that like and subscribe button, and until next time, I'm Chad from Take It or Leave It, and I'll check you later.
Check you later. Check you later.
Hey man, get off my case.
Oh man, chicks don't want to hear that shit.